Hello, my name is Kate, and today I'll be talking about my journey as an immigrant living in Canada. I'll be talking about the chapters in my life which touches upon my experiences, challenges, and difficulties, and its impact. First, to introduce, I was born and raised in the Philippines, and I was raised by my grandparents. Both of my parents worked as an OFW worker, which are overseas Filipino worker for as long as I can think of. I immigrated to Canada with my dad back in 2016. I felt very emotional since I have not seen my mom for years after she immigrated to Canada. We immigrated to Canada in hopes of acquiring a better future for me. Since it was a whole new country, I felt afraid and excited at the same time. I hoped to find belonging and comfort since everything felt unfamiliar then. When I continued my elementary studies in Canada, I started to feel more comfortable. There were many Filipinos my age who also immigrated with their parents. Therefore, I felt peace and I did not feel left out. However, when I started high school, my parents moved to a different neighborhood. It felt less comfortable and it was a whole new experience. There were less Filipinos to interact with. In the beginning, I felt a little out of place. I felt like I needed to fit in again. And because of this, I started to change my personality, abandoning my culture and following trends just to fit in. This did not last as I started to realize that I don't always have to fit in and I can be my own person. I found my people who accepted me for who I am and I became more proud of being an immigrant. Experiences in food and culture. Immigrating in Canada and living in Toronto made me feel more connected not only towards my culture, but also to others. Toronto is filled with people of different backgrounds and cultures. I started exploring the city through their food. I wanted to try different kinds of cultural food whenever I got the chance. This allowed me to have an understanding of how different cultures express their country through their dishes. Trying out new foods was the one that helped me appreciate the city more for what it has to offer. My favorite food place I have ever been to is Daldane. It is a Korean barbecue place that offers different cuts of meats and side dishes. This was a staple for me and my cousins to go at least once a week. I became more aware of the difficulties my mom went through to provide for my family. My mom prioritized making me a Canadian citizen in order to relieve some stress in the future. She wanted me to focus on my studies and my future. To start, we had many family members from my mom's side that immigrated to Canada years ago as well. However, they all had traditional mindsets and expectations they carried on for their children. This is when I started feeling the pressure and the gendered roles that are traditionally rooted, with one of those being the differences in roles for females in the family. The females in the family typically handle all the household work, such as cooking, cleaning, and caring for the family, while males work to provide for their family. However, this made me feel like the roles were not fair since men were not doing any of the household work, and if they were asked to do, they would respond by saying they were tired from work. Since I was younger, I followed this ideal and had the mindset that this is just how it works. Second, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but if you hear Filipinos, most would think that they are nurses. The majority of my family were nurses, specifically the females in the family. This became a pressured expectation for me, especially when I started university. My parents pushed for me to also pursue nursing. They believed that nursing would guarantee a success in my future since other family members were also nurses, were achieving so much. This career path was considered the easier way. This mentality from my family caused me to stress about my future and since I did not want to pursue nursing. I did not want to just be the same as everyone, and in general, the nursing field is not built for me. However, I still felt the need to follow through. I started taking prerequisites for nursing during my first few years in university. However, I felt burnt out, not just in school, but in life as well. I realized I could not take it anymore and I needed to find my own path for myself. I started researching other career paths that I could start pursuing that would actually provide me with excitement and comfort. I finally told my mom about this decision of me departing from pursuing nursing. She became scared for my future and told me that it would not lead me to success. However, since I believe that since it's my own future, that I should be the one to make decisions for it. I should I should not live a life that I don't want. Through all these hardships in life me and my family went through, I was able to keep going to prove my own self-worth. I believe that what people would say about you and the challenges you encounter should not define who you are as a person and limit what you can be. You can make your own decisions since it is your life. That is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.